Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Launched in 2021, this is the second generation modern-day Omega Seamaster 300. Both the first generation of the 2010s and the second generation use the style of the 1957 Seamaster 300 as a starting point. That wasn't the first Seamaster, but it was the first Seamaster to be a dive format watch. So this modern watch here, inspired by the 1957 reference CK2913, it is larger and better made though, in steel, 41 millimeters in diameter, 14.1 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, just the case, 48.2 millimeters. Add the end link on each side, and the total horizontal distance across the wrist is 50.2. And there is a rather modern 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. So we'll put this vintage styled watch on the wrist, and you can see it's got a vintage vibe but modern presence. It's a substantial piece on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference. It actually does not overhang the edge of my wrist, so I think you could wear this on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference. It's neither thick nor thin, but the overlap of the bezel beyond the case suggests that very tight sleeves might get hung up. Taking a look at the bracelet, it is a vintage flat link style with a conforming end link. We've got a little bit of a taper down towards the clasp, polished outer links. We've got satin finished center links, removable links fixed by screws, and you can see there is an intermediate link on each side in case you find yourself in between sizes with the primary links. We've got a single fold deployant released by pressing two triggers, so it's quite secure. The gauge of the steel is great. Very thick gauge steel. We have a little slider right there, push button, about 9.6 millimeters of incremental adjustment for the sake of sizing. Now this is a 1957 style diver, so we don't have the lyre style lugs that would come along later. We've got a screw down crown, we've got 300 meter water resistance, squared off lug ends, minimal beveling, satin finishing profile, polish on the lug hoods. You can see we've got a bezel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 120 click. It has a very sharp detent to it. That's the best way to describe it. Very sharp. It's the opposite of a Rolex or a Grand Seiko dive bezel. It's very pronounced with an extremely mechanical character. It shudders from position to position rather than gliding. The knurling is actually far superior on what you'll find on the Diver 300 meter. This is easy to grip even if your hands are wet, sweaty, or gloved. One change for the second generation of modern day Seamaster 300 is that we have an anodized aluminum bezel insert to give it the requisite vintage aesthetic. We do have a bubble style sapphire. It is a sapphire. It's designed to look like a vintage plexi. Let's do a lume shot now. You can see that this watch features a fully calibrated bezel every 5 minutes, fully calibrated. Also note the bezel pearl is green, so it's the minute hand, so you can quickly judge the two most important references relative to each other at a glance. And there's a luminescent lollipop style seconds hand, which is both historically inspired and perhaps more significantly lets you know your dive instrument is running if you're diving below visible light or at night. How much do you love those open 6 and open 9 fonts too? Well done, Omega. Taking a look at the dial, it's relatively muted. It has a little bit of the aesthetic of a Panerai sandwich dial in that the numerals and the indices are all part of a stencil that's cut and then placed on luminescent material below. So you have this sort of three-dimensional tiered aesthetic to the dial. It's a matte finish, anti-glare. It's a really good look, broad arrow style hour hand and a few modern setting features. So we've got a twin barrel movement here. So this isn't like the Diver 300 meter, which has the single barrel movement. This has the mobile independent hour hand, so you can travel without interrupting the timekeeping. Of course, you can also pull the crown out. Now that activates hacking seconds. You could set everything to a reference time. Turn it all over, roll around to the back. As I mentioned, 8900 series movement, not 8800. Twin barrels, automatic winding, 60-hour power reserve, stop seconds, mobile hour hand, full balance bridge and a free-sprung balance for shock resistance, anti-magnetic escapement balance, staff balance, and silicone hairspring, anti-magnetic to over 15,000 Gauss. And the watch movement does meet the COSC standards, but then goes beyond to earn a master chronometer certification, which tests the fully assembled watch to a timing tolerance of no worse than -0 + 5 5 seconds in 6 positions. Again, fully assembled, not a bare movement test like the COSC. Also tested is that 1.5 Tesla plus anti-magnetism, durability, winding efficiency, power reserve, and water resistance. The Maytas standard is a complete test. Coaxial escapement, tri-level, as invented by George Daniels and implemented by Omega starting in 1999, a tangential friction escapement that is more efficient and lower friction than a sliding friction, Swiss lever. Swiss lever is sliding friction. Look up run to banking and you can read all about that. This is tangential friction. So you can also see it's beating away at 25,200 vibrations per hour, a quirky beat rate, and that all of this pivots on 38 joules. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.